very timely debate. I don't want to repeat what has been said by a number of honourable members. I agree with all the speeches that have been made so far, but I did want to contribute since I have actually been to Nagorno-Karabakh. I travelled there about 10 years ago in order to see the situation in the ground following the conflicts, because sadly this has been a repetition over many years of conflict in that part of the world with Azeri aggression towards Nagorno-Karabakh. I visited the Nagorno-Karabakh and saw the democratically elected government there, the efforts to rebuild the country following the previous conflicts, and as a result of what was a fact-finding mission rather than specifically to express support for one side or another, I am now sanctioned by Azerbaijan, as is a large number of colleagues both in this House and indeed other parliaments who have the temerity to actually go to Nagorno-Karabakh. I went, I might say, with Baroness Cox from the other place, who is known as Artsak's Angel, having, I think, visited Nagorno-Karabakh for, I think, 100 times. I also was the UK government's representative in Yerevan in 2015 at the ceremony to mark the centenary of the genocide. I share my honourable friend's regret that the genocide is not formally recognised by the UK government, but it most certainly was a genocide, and it was only right that we should have representation. And the matters that we are debating this afternoon, to some extent, are rooted in the genocide of 100 years ago, because there has been a constant hostility and hatred, indeed, for the Armenian population from Turkey and more latterly Azerbaijan. And there is no doubt that there is evidence that what is taking place now is an attempt at further ethnic cleansing and possibly even meets the definition of genocide. It does date back, as my honourable friend said, to the formation of Armenia and Azerbaijan following by the breakup of the Soviet Union, and there have been several wars since that time. But the present action against Nagorno-Karabakh and the Lachin Corridor, we are told, was a result, and I lead the UK delegation to the OSCE Parliamentary Assembly, and my colleague on the Parliamentary Assembly who represents Azerbaijan wrote to us to say that the Lachin Road is being used for unlawful military activities and also for the trafficking of minerals and other wealth from the formerly occupied territories of Azerbaijan to Armenia and elsewhere. That is strongly disputed. As my honourable friend pointed out, the so-called environmental activists who have blockaded the road bear a striking resemblance to representatives of the Azeri government. They are not just some sort of Greenpeace activists. This is a coordinated action. And it has created a humanitarian crisis, and I don't wish to repeat what has already been said. I would only say that the world's attention at the moment is rightly focused on what is happening in Ukraine, and it is perhaps for that reason that Azerbaijan has felt that perhaps now was a good moment when attention was distracted elsewhere to once again mount an assault. But we are rightly very aware of the pressure on Ukrainian citizens as a result of the winter and the Russian attempts to destroy their energy supplies. In Kiev at the moment it's about -3. In Stepanakert, it's almost exactly the same. And the people in Nagorno-Karabakh are suffering exactly the same way, without electricity, without heat, as a result of this blockade. It is a humanitarian crisis. The international community needs to do more. The Russian peacekeeping force, so-called, needs to do more. And if, as my honourable friend has suggested, if there is this suggestion that this is an environmental movement and that there is no impediment for civilians to move from Nagorno-Karabakh to Armenia or for supplies to enter, then why can we not have an international mission to establish the facts on the ground and to unblock the road in order that the people there who are suffering desperately at the present time can get the relief they need. And I do hope that the British government, and I look forward to the reply of the Minister, but I hope that the British government will step up the pressure, if nothing else, in order to relieve the terrible suffering that is taking place.